Well, our first race in charge of Toro Rosso is today, and we're P14 and P19, so that's impossibly hard to even score a point, I think. But Kvyat in P14, we may be able to sneak into that top 10. Hello, welcome to Season 2, Episode 12 of Race to the Top. I'm Ian, and today we are in Canada for the Vancouver GP. We are not expecting very much because we're right at the back. We're 14th and 19th. Kvyat is probably our best opportunity. We're obviously going to be throwing him on the race trim, which, up to, as we manage to get it to level 3, that puts us in a pretty good position, I think, to possibly get a little bit further. We're going to start him on the soft tyres and try and go as long as we can, which is what we're going to probably do with Gasly as well. And we might even put him on the soft tyres wear more slowly, the light-footed, because if we can get those soft tyres to go as far as possible, then we may be able to one-stop these guys. I'm not sort of holding out a great deal of hope for a one-stopper, but that's what I'm sort of hoping, because if we have a quick look, actually, in saying that, I do need to change them onto the soft tyres. As you can see, they last around 38 laps, so we'll probably only last about 30 laps. That's what I'm sort of thinking. It's a 54-lap race, so with 24 laps to go, we can then throw them onto the super softs. That's why I don't think the ultra softs are going to be very good. However, if the tyre wears a bit better, particularly on Gasly's car, if he can sort of go a lot further on these softs, we may be able to throw him onto the ultra softs at the end of the race. That's why I'm sort of thinking a one-stopper is the way to go. We're sort of throwing all our eggs in one basket to a certain extent because we're going on the harder compound tyre right at the start. We should perhaps, hedge our bets a little bit and start Gasly on the super softs or maybe even the ultras or something like that. But I don't want to do that in case the safety car comes out. But I don't really want to do that because I just figure, there's going to be so much traffic. How close all those times were in qualifying. It's going to be nose to tail. It's going to be like a trolley train going around. There's going to be a lot of jostling for position. So I sort of think it's a bit pointless putting him on those fast compound tyres. And as you can see as well, there's no rain. There's a 40% chance of rain here today, and there's no rain coming up by lap 27, which is as far as we can see. Lap 27, there's no rain. So starting on the softs makes sense, because if that rain comes down, just after lap 27, then, we could extend those stints a little bit, possibly, and go straight onto intermediates. That's the plan. A bit like what we did in Munich in Formula 3 with Koiranen to win the championship. The luckiest strategy call ever. And hopefully, hey, something similar could happen today. But let's have a quick look at the starting grid then. So you got Lewis Hamilton on pole with Kimi Räikkönen alongside him. Then you got Valtteri Bottas with Sebastian Vettel. Then you got the two Red Bulls. No, you don't actually. I thought you did. I thought Max Verstappen was there, but Sergio Perez has pipped him for 6th place. You got Max Verstappen down in 7th with Felipe Massa alongside him in 8th. He's starting on the super soft along with Lance Stroll, his teammate. Fernando Alonso is 10th. He's starting on the ultra softs along with Nico Hülkenberg in 11th. His teammate is starting on the hardest compound, the soft tyres, which is what we're starting on. We've got Esteban Ocon alongside us for company with Daniil Kvyat. Then behind him, you've got Johnny Sesotto Jr., who looks like a 10-year-old with Romain Grosjean in 16th place. Then you've got Jenson Button, Mark Webber. Now, Jenson Button starting on the super softs. Pierre Gasly starting on the softs. He's down in P19. And Nick De Vries for Rapax. He's down in 20th place, and he does look like a 10-year-old. The other guy doesn't, but this guy certainly does. And he's starting on the slightly faster compound, so you could expect to see Pierre Gasly slip to last place by the end of the first lap. But let's get into today's race, and let's see what happens. We're going to focus on Kvyat here, just because there's not much else going on. In fact, let's cut back a little bit. Let's see where Hamilton goes. We're not too bothered about our guys. Hamilton leads the charge. Kvyat's managed to get in front of Ocon, and he moves up into 12th place. Gasly's moved up into 18th, and we've had a pretty good start. That's not bad, but look at how there's still a lot of cars jostling his way as we go around that hairpin. Kvyat maintains 12th position. Gasly stays up. Gasly's just gone in front of Jenson Button up into 17th place. A great start from him. Kvyat's now battling away with Lance Stroll, and Stroll's on the quicker tyre, and he's side by side. I'm a bit worried about that because Kvyat's a bit of a first lap struggler, but he's moved up into 11th place now. That shows the pace. Maybe it was just a bad qualifying. He was 7th in free practice, and in qualifying he was down in 14th. So the fact that he's climbing, maybe, and this is on the first lap, let's not forget, maybe he's actually a pretty good driver after all. But Gasly's also moved up. He's into 16th place, and we are now up into 11th place. So we're just out of the points there. You've got Alonso just ahead, but Stroll has come storming back and retakes 11th place just before that hairpin, as Gasly's starting to fall away a little bit as well. Now, what I do have to mention, as you may have just seen there's a personality trait active, because Kvyat's in a bit of a foul mood. He's got very, very low morale. He's not taking any orders today, so we can't do any team orders, but I'm not too concerned about that because they're both miles away from each other at the moment. But Kvyat's still hanging on in 12th place. He's not letting Stroll go, and considering Stroll's on the much, much quicker tyre, this could be interesting, as he's side by side with Stroll now, and he's holding in there. He's holding in. He's got that inside line, and we come up to that first corner, and he's managed to get in front of Stroll and retakes 11th place. Gasly's now dropped down into last place. He's battling away with Jenson Button there, so that's a little bit of concern because he's fallen away. So he's really, really battling. There he is. It's quickly cut to him as he's side by side with Button. But Button had that inside line. I told you expect to see Gasly dead last, but look at the pace. He's got a lot better pace on those main straights, doesn't he? But unfortunately, it looks like Button's got better brakes, and that's why Button managed to hold off an attack from Gasly. But let's quickly cut back to Kvyat, because that's who, if anyone's going to score points, it's going to be him, as we can start backing off the engine modes as well. So we're up into 11th place. As you can see, Stroll's fallen away a little bit, and he's on the softer tyre. He's on the super soft. We're just on soft. And the fact that we're starting to pull away now, we've got a bit of a lead, which is really, really promising. We've got a second gap over Stroll. We're just about keeping in touch with Alonso as well, but we are dropping back just a touch, as Gasly's still battling away with Button there. I've just got the notification there. Stroll has come storming back again on that. I think that's turn 4, that is, where he manages to come right back, but then we start to pull away a bit on those straights. So we might have fractionally better power than the Williams car of Lance Stroll. That's not too bad. I'm quite happy with things. We can start speeding things up a bit. And so we're on lap 4. Kvyat's holding in 11th place. We are in touching distance of points here because we're going to try and go the distance. We are going to have to be a little bit conservative with our driving style. We can't have them going too hard because, as you can see, Kvyat's at 88% tyre wear already compared to Gasly's 91%. So going to lap 30 could be quite difficult, but it's certainly doable. When you look at all these guys starting on the Ultrasofts, they're going to have to pit and then come back through the field. So if we can hang in with Alonso and Hülkenberg, we're not going to be able to hang in with Verstappen and Raikkonen, let's be real. But if we can hang in with Alonso and Hülkenberg, when they pit, they're going to come out way behind us, and we could, in theory, come back and really do well. But their tyre wear seems to be doing a lot better than I expected, so they might be able to one-stop this as well. So as long as we don't fall too far behind, I'll be happy with that. But 11th place, I'm happy. Gasly's still in last place. He's got a lot of work to do, unfortunately. And I don't like Gasly so far. He's not been impressing me. Raikkonen's managed to get in front of Sergio Perez. He's climbed up. As the top 3 now is Hamilton, Bottas. Vettel's managed to get ahead of Ricciardo. Let's have a quick look at them. Look at how far ahead they are up the field. As you can see, Vettel has overtaken Ricciardo, so Ricciardo's dropped back into 4th place, but they're all on the ultra softs. That's partly why they're pulling well away. But our battle isn't up the front, is it? Our battle is just trying to score a solitary point. Because, as you can see, Kvyat's starting to fall a bit behind. He's about 2 seconds behind Alonso now. So we're going to lose a little bit of pace. Those ultra softs compared to the softs, that's going to be quite a lot. So Gasly's managed to get in front of Jenson Button. And we've got notification that Button's mounting an attack once again. But, as you can see, Gasly's just about holding off. We seem to really struggle on those corners, don't we? I think that's where our suspension is really letting us down, because I don't think we've got any new suspension. We're using the default suspension that we started the season with, which is partly why the other cars are finding it quite easy to overtake us on these sort of medium-speed corners. But he looks like he's held off Button quite well there. Kvyat's doing very well in 11th place. He's maintaining that 2-second lead to Stroll, but Sainz has managed to get in front of Stroll, so we can expect to see Sainz coming back at Kvyat. Let's have a quick look at Sainz there. There he is. So Stroll's behind him now, down in 13th place, and Sainz is going to be really trying to be closing in on Kvyat. This is a straight fight now because they've got very similar tyre on the same tyres. They've got similar tyre wear, and the Renault car, I think, is fractionally quicker than ours. So, we can expect to see him closing in a little bit. But Kvyat, meanwhile, he's maintaining. He's got that 1.9 second lead. He's 2.3 seconds behind Alonso now. But I'm not too concerned. They are on the ultra soft tyres, which is, the 2 compounds faster than what Kvyat's on. Kvyat's only on the softs. Gasly, meanwhile, is still struggling away, holding off Button right at the back of the grid. There's not really much we can do as Rapax have allowed De Vries to go past Soto Jr. He started off very, very well, and he's slowly falling back. So they might be a very good team to qualify and then just can't do anything on the race. So Gasly may start closing in a little bit. As you can see, it's down to 1.1 second now, but there's 3 cars in front of him of Soto, De Vries, his teammate, and then the Haas of Romain Grosjean leading the charge. So Gasly's quickly coming up into that. Look at that. It's closing in very, very quickly. So we might even have a little opportunity at gaining a couple of places here. We need to get ahead of Rapax particularly. I mean, if Gasly's behind them, he might not even race in the next race. He'll be gone if we can't get past De Vries and Soto Jr. But as you can see, it's also now dragged Jensen Button in. So there's a sort of a 5-way battle right at the back here where there's not much happening. So Gasly's getting onto the team radio. He wants some useful information. As he's having a look at Soto Jr., but he doesn't quite pull it off. But he's going to have another look, and he's going to have the inside coming into this hairpin. He manages to get in front. Button just about. The door closed on Button, and Soto Jr. has a lot of work to do, but Button did manage to get in front. So Gasly moves up to 18. Soto Jr. is now down in last place, but he's come back at Button a little bit. Those two battling away suits us just fine because it'll allow Gasly to pull away a little bit. As you can see, Soto Jr. is back ahead of Button now. So that works out perfectly for us. Meanwhile, Kvyat, he's maintaining that 2-second lead over Stroll because Stroll has got back in front of Carlos Sainz, but we are still struggling with 2 seconds behind Alonso. So Kvyat's sort of holding position really a little bit. So that suits us just fine. As you can see, Alonso and Hülkenberg will have to start pitting around lap 20, I'm sort of estimating, maybe a little bit later, maybe 21, 22. We're doing very, very well. Verstappen has been burning through his tyres, and he is now pitted. So he's going to be coming back through the field, but again, it's for position. So he's got a lot of work to do. I don't know how he managed to get through those tyres so quickly. Meanwhile, Stroll and Sainz Jr. are still battling away. Verstappen did manage to get in front of Stroll, so that worked out well for the Red Bull driver, because he's now only really got to worry about us. He'll be catching up to us very, very quickly. Gasly's still battling away in 18th place. What's he doing for time? He's 1.5 seconds ahead of Soto Jr. now, so he's well clear of him, and he's closing up on De Vries, and we should be able to get past De Vries quite quickly. But Kvyat, the important thing is that first lap, because he takes that big hit on his attributes in that first lap. The fact that he climbed all those positions, that puts him in a great position for the rest of the race. If he struggled in that first lap, which I was expecting him to do, he could have slipped a couple of positions, and then we would have been down in sort of 16th and 18th or something like that. But the fact that he did very, very well on that first lap puts him in a great position to score some points. He's coming under a bit of pressure from Verstappen, as Ricciardo is pitted but doesn't come out behind us. He comes out in 8th place ahead of Fernando Alonso, which is great news for him. But Verstappen, he's gonna have to have a go very, very soon because we're really affecting his race now. We're holding him up a little bit, but there's not really much we can do, is there? There's 38 laps to go. We're on lap 17. We're doing very well for tyre wear at the moment, and particularly Gasly. Gasly is doing fantastically well. Kvyat, we are expecting, let's say, what are we at? Again, I'm thinking lap 30 still pretty standard. Now, Kvyat has overtaken Lance Stroll for 9th place. I didn't see what happened there to Lance Stroll. How was he ahead of us? I did not see that at all. I don't know how that happened. Did he get overtaken and I wasn't paying any attention? I've got no idea. As Hamilton has gone into the pit, so Bottas has overtaken him and taken the lead. Hamilton's come out on the soft tyres. Alonso's now gone into the pit, so we move up again. I told you they would be pitting around lap 20. Hülkenberg particularly, he might be able to go a bit longer, but they might be pitting him earlier just to ward off any potential undercut from Alonso. So we are moved up into 8th place now. We are looking very, very good. Gasly's looking very good on his tyres as well. He might be able to go even longer and go onto the ultra soft tyres, which would be great. So there's Hülkenberg there. He's losing a lot of time, but he will be diving into the pit, so he's not going to be holding Kvyat up too much, but it doesn't matter because Kvyat got in front of him anyway. So did Verstappen there. So we drop back down to 8. That's to be expected. And Stroll is still right on our tail. So we can't sort of rest too much because Stroll is going to be coming back quite hard. And they've got very, very similar tyre wear. And they're on a quicker tyre. So that shows how much better their tyre wear is. But it does seem that on the straights, our car is fractionally quicker than the Williams. But then when we get through these twisty sections, that's where the Williams comes back. But in terms of tyre wear, I am thrilled with how good Gasly's going. He's certainly not going to be able to go the whole race, but he's doing fantastically well. Raikkonen will be going into the pits shortly as well, but everyone's coming through. It looks like Carlos Sainz, Mark Webber, Ocon, their tyres are lasting fractionally longer than ours on the softs. So that's a concern. But the important thing is we've got a 7-second lead over Ocon. So we will probably come out behind Webber. I'm going to assume that. In fact, we'll almost certainly come out behind Alonso as well. So, I think we're going to be more or less sort of holding position, I think. I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about, losing too many places, staying out for too long. But Raikkonen has pitted and he's come out behind Perez and behind Stroll. He's got to battle through 2 drivers just to get to Kvyat. Now, we probably won't hold him up too much because as long as he doesn't get past the other 2 too quickly, which he managed to get through Ocon very, very quickly, and he's going to make light work of Stroll by the looks of things, we are going to hold him up as they're going side by side behind us, but Raikkonen's managed to get in front. Raikkonen's going to make very, very quick work of us in this twisty little section here where we just have absolutely no pace. Look at how quickly he's closed in. And these long straights, again, you're going to assume that Kvyat's going to get past. And we're going to drop back to 8th place. There we go. So I'm not too concerned about battling with Raikkonen. He's not who we're battling. We are battling with Stroll, Perez, and we're still worrying a little bit about Ocon. We could potentially squeeze past Hulkenberg, but we're doing very, very well on these tyres. They're definitely going to be one stopping, I think. They're going to try and go to the end on the softs. We're not going to have that luxury, I don't think. As we're doing very well on our fuel as well. We're really conserving a lot of fuel, which will be great at the end of the race. It'll allow us to, push that little bit harder and try and maintain some positions. I'm expecting Gasly's race to sort of come back to him a little bit because he can go a very, very long time on these softs. So I'm hoping that we can put him just onto the one stopper, go onto the ultra softs and then push as hard as he can. Now Stroll's having a bit of a look and he's closing in a little bit. He may even overtake us a touch. Perez in particular probably will because he's on fresh super softs. So look at how close Perez is. As Perez has managed to get in front of Lance Stroll, that's helped us considerably because although Perez is going to be closing up, it's given us that little buffer because Stroll was looking quite threatening. The only problem is, of course, that Lance Stroll now has the slipstream on those straights, and there's some very, very long straights on this track, particularly that back straight there where Hamilton's just going along now. So Gasly has managed to get in front of De Vries, which that's fantastic news for us because look, he's got a nice clean track there. He's closing in a little bit on Grosjean as well. Grosjean will be pitting before Gasly, the way these tyres are going. And we're going to have to start looking at potentially pitting Kvyat soon. I'm going to stretch him to lap 30 if we can help it. As he's fallen back to 9th now. Perez has got in front of him. Again, I kind of expected that. Lance Stroll's got a little bit worse tyre wear than us, so if Stroll may be going into the pit before us. But what's rather worrying about that is because he's on the quicker tyre, he's possibly going to have the undercut. So we may have to act before Stroll. As soon as Stroll goes into the pits, it may force our hands. As Stroll had a look there, he was using his ERS, but didn't manage to get ahead, but he's closed right up. So we could be even going for the undercut at this rate. As Stroll's hanging on the outside, he's right up the back of Kvyat. So this could be one of the quickest overtaking manoeuvres in the history of Formula One, coming down to this first corner, which is where we seem to lose a lot of speed. Right around here, we lose a lot of time. But in saying that, Stroll backed off a touch, and we maintain 8th place. We're doing very well. Well, I should say Kvyat is doing very well. So let's bump up the engine modes just a touch, because we are in the positive. And hopefully this extra fuel mode allows Kvyat to maintain 8th place, which will be fantastic for us. Now, what's interesting is Ricciardo started on the Ultra Softs and he's pitted for the Ultra Softs. He's the only one that's going to be doing a 2-stopper. So his race could be very, very compromised here. So keep an eye on Ricciardo to see what he does. Meanwhile, Soto Jr. at the back, he's pitting now for the soft tyres. Keep an eye on Grosjean. We want to see how he's going in regards to Gasly, because Gasly's going to be going a very, very long time. He's only at 45% wear. Now, Kvyat, I'm keeping him out once we get to sort of, lap 30, 31, 32, that's when I want to pit him because I don't want him to be coming in too soon, as it looks like Stroll will be going into the pits soon. Surely he'll be going into the pits. Let's keep an eye on Stroll because he's got a couple of cars. He's got Verstappen right on his tail. He's got Sainz right behind him. As there goes Stroll now. Now Stroll is pitting. We're not going to pit. What we're going to do, we're going to go into full attack mode now. We want to ward off any potential undercut. I think he's just out of it. He's 2.5 seconds behind, so I don't think the undercut's going to work for Stroll. But either way, we don't want anything to happen. And now we're on lap, so it's going to be lap 31 when Kvyat comes out. So let's put him into the pits now. With 25 laps to go, we can put him on the super softs. So the one stopper will really work for us. Park condition, that's fine. We're not going to worry too much about the battery. And of course, we want a fast pit stop, don't we? So whilst Kvyat's going around, let's quickly cut back, see how Gasly's getting on. He's in 17th place as Button's pitted behind him, so he's got no one to worry about behind him. But there's Stroll in front of him, so Stroll's come out in 16th place. But Gasly's going to be able to go a long, long time on these tyres. We can back him off just a touch, and we're going to back off Kvyat as well, as he's going to be coming around very, very shortly. This is going to be his first pit stop, and hopefully his only one. There's a mistake on the front left. That is going to hurt us. That's not what I wanted to see. He's just come ahead of... Stroll's managed to get him. He's managed to get in front of Lance Stroll. That's important, but that's cost us. The one stopper I thought was going to really work, and unfortunately it hasn't. And that mistake on the front left has really hurt Kvyat because Ocon and Sainz are going to be pitting. And so we may move up into P11 with those two pitting. But there goes Sainz now. Sainz has got into the pits, so has Ocon. So we move up into P11, but Stroll is right behind us. So we're going to be battling away with Stroll once again. That's not what I wanted to see. As we move back down into P12, we were in with a chance of points. But the front left, remember the front left, because whoever that pit crew member was, he's out for the next race. I might even sack him. I'm so annoyed about it. But we're down into P12. Gasly's in P15, and he's doing so well with these tyres. We're going to have to look at pitting him very, very shortly. And in fact, we might not even have to pit him. We might be able to get him straight onto the Ultra Softs, which would be great for him because it'll allow him to really, really push right at the end. But unfortunately, he's so far down the pecking order. He's down in 15th place, and he's 8 seconds behind Hülkenberg. He's got a lot of work to do if he's to even get close to Kvyat, as Massa's now dived into the pits as well. So Grosjean will be pitting very, very shortly. So Gasly will move up into P14. But as you can see, he's got a lot of clean air around him. He doesn't have to worry too much. As you can see, it's quite difficult to maintain these tyre temperatures now. Now the tyres are degrading, the tyre temperatures are climbing up. And same with Kvyat. We have to be quite mindful of these tyres because these are going to go to the end of the race for Kvyat. And we want him to stay at least quite close to Stroll, so at least he can fight him, at least for P11, in case something happens. Because, hey, someone could crash out, and that puts us into the places. As long as we've got to get ahead of Stroll, and then if someone in the top 10 crashes out, we're in the points. But that's sort of, if you're relying on people to crash out to score points, then it shows how bad the car is. As Grosjean's now dived into the pit, so Gasly's moved up into 14th place, and he is still going very, very strong on these soft tyres. This is great work from him. He's now 8 seconds. He's 8 seconds behind Hülkenberg in P10. I don't think he's going to close up that gap, unfortunately. So going on to the Ultra Softs right at the death isn't going to make a world of difference. So if we can get to lap 40, then we can put him onto the Ultra Softs, and he can go to the end of the race quite comfortably there. That's what I'm hoping. It's going to be touch and go, though, because as you can see, his tyre wear is down to 30%, and we've still got at least 3-4 laps to go on these soft tyres. But unfortunately, that pit stop ruined Daniil Kvyat's race, and he was looking very likely, I think, to score a point. But unfortunately now he's down in P12. He's going to be livid. I would be livid. And at the debrief, I think I'm going to have to calm him down because Sainz is now closing in on Kvyat. And if Sainz gets past, that is our race properly ruined. And we can forget about scoring anything. The one sort of redeeming thing about this race is you got the two Rapax drivers of De Vries and Soto Jr. They're dead last by a million miles. You got Grosjean and Webber for Haas. They're behind us as well. So as long as they don't score points, hey, we're not going to get relegated. But the fact that we're so close to P10 and we just lost it because of a dodgy pit stop, which cost us a couple of seconds. I mean, look, we're 2 seconds behind Hulkenberg. If we didn't make that mistake, we would have come out ahead of Hulkenberg. It's as simple as that, and we would be fighting for P10. But unfortunately, it's not to be, is it? So we can back off Kvyat a little bit because he has gone into the red for his fuel. And I'm looking at Gasly. Gasly will be able to go around lap 40, lap 41. I'm thinking once we cross the line here, we go into full burn on the tyres. There you go. Let's go into full attack mode and let's pit him, and we'll pit him onto the ultra soft. So there's 16 laps to go. Actually, you know what? I don't think we should. It's a bit early yet, isn't it? They're not going to last as long as I thought they were. So let's keep him out for another lap or two, and we'll take that gamble onto the ultra softs, because he's not going to be able to stay out on them as long. Like, because the only that trait he has with the mechanic of the soft tyres lasting longer, it's only for the soft tyres, it's not for the ultra softs. So Kvyat's now defending from Sainz for 12th place. Unfortunately, he's got a mountain to climb because he's now 1.5 seconds behind Stroll. Now, Stroll's battling away with Hulkenberg there, so they could potentially bring Kvyat in. But as you can see, they're in front there. They're battling for the final points position. We should be up there as well. That's where we should be, but we're not, because the front left fucking tyre changer. I don't like swearing on this because I sort of, I don't know who's watching this, but I am so fucked off with what happened. I really am. It's so annoying what happened. So meanwhile, Pierre Gasly is still going around again. He's at 20% tyre wear. Let's back him off a touch. Let's go into attack mode. Now with 13 laps to go, I think now we can take that gamble and put him onto the ultra softs. Let's check our part condition. That's all good. We're not going to worry about battery. And then we'll go have to pit Gasly. Well, let's hope that his stop is a bit better. If the front left makes another mistake, then, honestly, I will blow up. But Gasly's not doing too badly, but he just can't do anything from there. I mean, if he started where Kvyat was, Gasly could be going for points instead. As Kvyat's now battling with Sainz once more, we have closed up as Alonso's gone into the pits, and he's come out behind Kvyat. So Kvyat has a great stop from Gasly, by the way. Kvyat's up to P11. So he's got work to do, but he could, in theory, do something here. He may get a point. The fact that Alonso pitted, I think Hulkenberg, Perez may have to pit, but he's a bit too far away. So if we finish in P11 and don't score a point because of that stuff up on the tyres, I will be so annoyed. Let's back off Gasly before his tyres burn too much. Pierre Gasly's now got a blue flag, so that's his race basically over now. The blue flags have come through as Hamilton, or is that Bottas? Bottas goes screaming past Hamilton just about as they're on top of one another. So Kvyat, he's going onto the team radio. He's battling with Stroll for P10. This is 4 points. We can still salvage something here. He's got that inside line. Is he going to be able to do it? He just about gets there. And we are now up into P10. Our race might not be over at all. We have got a point, people. The way things stand, Stroll's come back with Urs, but he can't close in too much. So Stroll's struggling a little bit because he pitted a lot earlier, and his tyres are a lot more worn because he's been battling away with everyone, and we are up into P10. That's awesome stuff for us. We can bump Gasly's fuel burn up a little more because now he's being blue flagged. We kind of have to. As Sissotto Jr. is retiring with a mechanical issue, he's right at the back. His race is done anyway, so that didn't help us. We want someone up here retiring just to give Kvyat an extra point or two. And let's not forget, people, that this will be Kvyat's first point of the season. All of our 7 points so far have been scored by Gasly, who's right the way down in 16th place, and doing very, very well on those tyres, I might add. But Kvyat is holding off. He's holding up in 10th place. We're going to have to back off his tyres just a touch. I'm a little bit concerned about them. I want him to be able to get past. Gasly's having a look at Webber. Let's quickly come back to him, see if he makes the move stick. There's Webber in front in 15th place, but it looks like he's fallen a little behind there. Let's bump his tyres up a touch as well, give him a bit of a boost. And we can manage Kvyat as well. He's maintaining 10th, and he's got a 1.5 second lead over Stroll. Stroll's fallen away a little bit. Buttons run wide, according to that, but he's way behind. We don't need to worry about him. But we are doing very, very well in P10 at the moment. Let's bump his fuel burn up a touch as well, because we want him to keep pushing. We'll lower his driving style as well, because I want those tyre temperatures to drop a little bit. We've only got what's that, 7 laps to go. Kvyat hasn't been lapped yet. He's still on the lead lap. Gasly has, so we don't have to worry too much about Gasly with his tyres now. We're pretty much certain that he's going to get to the end on those ultras, as he's got another blue flag. So that's his race completely done. Bottas does have to pit again. Or is Bottas surely not going to go to the end of this race on those tyres? Surely not, because Hamilton will be all over him if he does. Gasly's whinging that he can't get past Vettel, unsurprisingly. But I must admit, we're doing very well. Now, Stroll has closed in a touch. It's still 1.4 seconds, but it looks like that first sector, he closes right up, as we could be right on for the chance of picking up a point now. Think where we could be if we didn't make that mistake. We could have been ahead of Hulkenberg. Perez is too far up the road, as you can see. There's 20 seconds, not quite, 17, 18 seconds between Perez and Hulkenberg. And we could have been ahead of Hulkenberg. There's Hulkenberg there. You can just see him in the screen. You'll see him when you come up to this hairpin. There he is there. So we are closing up, are we? 2 seconds. It's 1.1 seconds now to Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg is pitting. Hulkenberg is pitting. And we get past him. Has he got a problem? Has he had a problem? I think he's got a problem with his car there. Gasly's also got in front of Webber. And we're going to have to back him off a little bit. Before I get too excited. As Kvyat moves up into P9, and we are going to be picking up a couple of points, and we move up to 9 points, and we close into Renault, who are only now 3 points ahead of us, because Hulkenberg is pitted. Sainz is in 12th place, and he's only 2.2 seconds behind Stroll, but he has got Alonso in front of him on the ultra-soft tyres. Raikkonen's also going into the pits, so these guys are not doing very well managing their tyres, because they're all pitting right at the death. We're going to do very well on this one stopper. Let's bump up Kvyat a little bit, just to ward off any threat. I mean, he's 2.7 seconds ahead of Kvyat, ahead of Stroll rather. But it doesn't look like Stroll is going to be mounting any serious challenge. But I am a little bit mindful of someone like Alonso coming back. But we've only a few laps to go. I'm pretty sure Kvyat's 9th place is in the bag, which is amazing. 2 points on our first race. Kvyat, I could kiss you, mate. You've done fantastically well. I'm thrilled with what he did. I really thought, I mean, if Gasly was further up, he could have done something as well, staying out for as long as he did on those soft tyres. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be for him. I mean, Kvyat, let's not forget, Kvyat was P7 in practice. And then in the qualifying, he was right down in P12. And that final hot lap for both Kvyat and Gasly right at the death really, really hurt them. Kvyat could have been starting in P9 for all we know, and unfortunately it didn't happen for him. But we're now sitting in P9, we're doing very, very well. I'm just going to back him off because I am mindful that I don't want them to run out of fuel. I mean, fancy that happening. But the fact that he's P9, I think we can be very happy with that. He's finished ahead of everyone. The mistake cost us, but not that much, did it? Because, look, let's be honest, it cost us 5-6 seconds, let's say. So he's nowhere near Verstappen anyway, and he's nowhere near Perez. So I think we can be very happy. We're the best of the also-rans, quite frankly. And that's fantastic for us. Picking up 2 points as we are still on the lead lap. Gasly will be crossing the line. His race will be done. There we go there. So Hamilton wins ahead of Vettel, who just pips past Bottas. Bottas did pit in the end, as Kvyat's going to be one of the last guys still running. It'll be Stroll and then Alonso to finish. But we can be really happy with P9. This is Kvyat's first points of the season, and 2 points is huge for us in 8th place. There he goes. He's happy. He's all right. Not too shabby. I agree with that, Kvyat. It wasn't too shabby at all to finish P9. That mistake I thought was going to cost us, but it didn't. And we pick up 2 valuable points, because we're only 3 points behind Renault now. And that's really important for us. We've got some scrutineering to worry about. I haven't checked our parts to see if there's anything of any chance of risk. There's no rules being broken. So there's confirmation. We do pick up P9. We pick up 2 points. But look at that. Because Carlos Sainz and Nico Hulkenberg for Renault, they don't pick up any points at all. And we're probably the team with the best winners. Look, Pierre Gasly jumped 4 places, Kvyat jumped 5, and although there's Felipe Massa for Williams jumped 4, I mean, I would say that Kvyat's probably the driver of the day. I really, really would say that. And Kvyat picks up 2 points, P14, P15. Now, Kvyat was expected to finish P13, so that could still happen. I'm after that, I'm really, really confident. And we are only 3 points behind Renault. If we can pick up another few points, if we can beat Renault at the end of the season, then surely that'll be great. It gives us an extra bit of money, but those extra couple of points has really helped us. We've just pulled away a little bit from Rapax and Haas now, and we are looking really, really good for next season. We can start focusing a little bit more on next season, because I was worried that maybe this team wasn't quite good enough, and I thought this could be a really, really tough battle at the end of the season, particularly seeing as qualifying went as badly as it did. I thought maybe Rapax and Haas have just been very, very unlucky, but instead we've done very, very well. Everyone's surely happy across the board. Daniil Kvyat's very, very happy. Gasly's morale drops a little bit, not too surprisingly, because let's be honest, he didn't have the best of race weekends. But look at that, 2 million quid in the bank. If we're going to pick up 2 million quid every single race from now until the end, then we're going to be picking up a lot of money for our car next season. Yeah, so thanks for watching that, guys. We are now in Formula One. We're here. I know some of you probably thought, I wanted you to stay with Koiranen, and I understand that. Don't worry, I will be checking them out. I will show you how they're getting on without me at the helm. But we're in Formula One, baby. I'll see you next time.